Good morning, everybody. Tracy Brown here. I am in my favorite spot in my area here on my back porch, and I have a little buddy with me. I'm babysitting my mother and father-in-law's dog. Yeah, hi, Maxie. Good morning. He's such a lover. So I'm lucky that I get an extra office buddy this week. So this will be his last day. Tomorrow's his last day, so you won't see him tomorrow, but. Anyway, he's such a good boy. He sits literally behind me on my chair when I'm doing these videos in the house, and follows me everywhere. So it's nice to have a buddy. So I highly recommend that you have one, cat, dog, something, if you're working from home, if possible. I know that critters are more work, but they're wonderful to have around. And if any of you have ever gone into somebody's office, you have a dog, it's so wonderful. Oh my gosh, I'm such a sucker. But anyway, so I thought I would do like a little business and practice chat this morning. If anybody's watching live, then pop in with your questions. If not, you can come back around after you watch this and tag me. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, I promised I had some suggestions for a little bit more practice chat. So I don't have any specific, it might come up in this chat, but any specific, what I want you to try this week with this, or I might, we'll see. This is very spontaneous today. I don't have a plan. But I want to talk about in general, and those of you who have worked with me in private supervision and group, supervision, and then my the non-diet counseling skills course, I hammer away at the point of focus because most of us are really good practitioners. Even if you don't think you are, you are. Especially if you're in this genre of work around really being loving and supportive and nourishing to people, you're already better than thousands of people. That's my opinion anyway. And not that we're going for better, but we kind of are. We want to be client and people centered versus authoritarian. So anyway, but nobody really teaches us or coaches us unless you've gone to school, some business school, unless you've done a lot of business coaching. I would say in the last 3 to 4 years, I've done quite a bit of business coaching now and learning quite a bit of stuff that it seems like the simplest things can be difficult. And I want to talk a little bit today around the idea of how important it is to get really, really, really clear and be focused on, the word position. And when I say position, all that means is that you're very, very clear about who you work with and kind of what results you're going to get them. And I know it's kind of weird when we're in this more counseling style work. We're just taught to network and have some clients and help them be, let's say our goal is to help them be free from food and weight, obsessions and preoccupations, all that kind of stuff. The problem that most of us get into, and I did too, is talking about the process. But our clients or potential clients or even people that consume our blogs or whatever, they don't care as much of the process. They want to, have hope that they can be free. And how are you offering that, what you do, and it's basically your services, how do you position yourself as, you can help them get to that freedom they want? That's really important. And I made the mistake too. And I can look at I'm working on a new website, or my VA's helping me. My business person is helping me. She's so awesome, by the way. And the reason I have her is because of some of the things I'm going to be talking about today is positioning yourself as somebody who, brings hope and really can help them get to the solution they want, which is, freedom, or maybe it's more comfortable in their own skin, or one of those kind of things. And it's really important that when you're doing your community talks, when you're doing your lives, when you're doing your blog post, when you're just being you, that you're talking about what's possible. So you hear me talk about freedom and autonomy and trust, and I'm not necessarily talking about all the steps to intuitive eating. People don't really care about that because that's not how everybody learned to be an intuitive eater. For me, I didn't have that language and I didn't learn that way. So it's not so much that there's magic in these steps. It's about relationship, and it's about what they're going to get. So I want to make sure that you all know, however you're putting your message out there, that you're focused on that. You're focused on who you're trying to help and where they want to go. And I know that sounds like y'all know that. I know that. Do I get off track with that? A lot, actually. And so I have to remind myself constantly about when I do my videos, when I'm, vlogging, whatever it is I'm doing when I'm on podcasts. It's just really, really clear about, helping people. They want you, but they also want the result. And sometimes, those two things go together, is that you're kind of guiding the way to the result, but you're not telling them like the process. You're actually just talking about like being able to like go out to dinner and not be obsessing about what everybody else is eating, for let's say, or whatever it is that you're talking about, because you're not going to be talking about the steps to get there. You're going to be talking about like the thing. And so I just want to make sure that you all know that how important that is. And even when let's say your Instagram, that's your jam. You love being on there. You're really good at it. Still be really specific in your memes that you create or whatever it is you're doing, about maybe where they are and where they want to go. And I think that we all love the inspirational posts, and those should be in there for sure. But to be really honest, like, I'm not working with somebody because they're inspirational post. I'm working with somebody who's made me feel like they can get me where I want to go, or they have like the strategies to help me get to where I want to go. Not that I need to know about all the strategies and how they exactly work. I mean, some people that's important, but that's hopefully the way they get on the call with you and talk to you about it. But I've talked to this a lot with some of my private, dietitian clients and coaches. It's like, we need to be really focused about like, and some of you are doing it really well. Like whoever's, who's in this group, like I go and look at your stuff and, really, I like all y'all stuff because I love that you're just out there. I want to support you being out there and practicing and learning what works and what doesn't, because that's like a ton of this is like you can follow somebody else's strategy, their process, but it's not going to be probably 100% for you in every little situation. That's why it's really important that you use your intuitive skills along with everything you learn out there from a business perspective and really make it a match as much as possible for you, because that's what's going to get results, that you feel comfortable, it feels doable for you, that it's not overly complicated. All of this is work, but it doesn't have to be overly complicated. It's really just staying focused on how you're offering, that you are offering the solution to people, not that you're offering the process, or that you're even offering how good you are. That's not what people are going to, that's not what people are after. So just make sure you all remember that. And I hope this video was helpful, just to like this little business coaching lesson, 1.0 whatever. And to make sure you remember, like, I don't have it all figured out. I don't. But I know enough, just by looking at like my own, like, how busy I am or not busy, or am I getting the kind of clients that are ready to really do the work. If you're getting a lot of calls from people who just don't really want to fully, not fully ready, if you're getting a lot of that, then there's something maybe going on in your messaging that you wanted to start tweaking. If you need help with that, let me know. But or the other point is, if everybody's saying yes to, let's say you're getting really busy, which is great, I hope you are. But if you're getting to the place where you're getting kind of overwhelmed, or you're getting clients that aren't the right fit, again, you need to get some clarity and some focus around, like, how are you putting yourself out there for certain, like, not exactly, like, let's say if you don't want to work with anybody who has anorexia, look at how you're presenting yourself. Look at, even if let's say your practice is all local, that's great. But people are kind of sending you in not the best clients, or they're not fully ready, or a lot of restricting clients. And you mostly work with binge eating or emotional eating. You need to get really clear with that with people. Don't just say you work with all people who struggle with stuff, because you might take them on because you feel desperate, but then you're really like not happy in your practice. And we need to leave room for the people who are your right fit. So if you don't work with restrictors, let's say, you work with people who do. I work a lot with, I would say my practice is probably half. I mean, I have everybody of every shape, size, whatever, but I do tend to get a lot more restrictors, probably because that's a little bit more of my history. I'm really good at it. I'm really good with people with trauma. I get that. So at this point, I don't have a lot of people that aren't a good match for me, but I used to, because I would just take everybody. I would take kids, take whatever. That's not the right fit, but you need to find people that in your area or that are maybe online that do, so you can have this community built, and build the kind of practice you like. But you got to have clarity and focus about that first. So if you're watching, you're like, I just don't have enough clients yet, I'm just kind of getting going, or I'm changing gears, I would still say you have to make that decision. If you need income now, I understand that. I did that. I understand that you got to do that sometimes. Totally get it. Or if you have the stomach and readiness to wait, and the focus of like, here's my stake in the ground, this is the kind of people I work with, and I'm happy to refer other kind of people to fill my space more with those other kind of people, that's more likely to happen for you. You're going to be happy, you're going to be less burnt out, you're going to get, just keep building your experience. So, there's not a wrong way to do it per se. There's more about like, where's your stake in the ground, about how focused you are, about what kind of people you see, and how you position yourself to do it. You're more likely to get where you want to go. And eventually, you make tweaks, up levels again in your practice, and you keep moving forward. So anyway, but if you're just starting, I still say you want to have some clarity. If you don't take people who have diabetes and disorder eating, or not take, but like you're not comfortable with that, you don't have to do it. It just depends on if you can keep that stake in the ground. But if you want to see people for the experience or the income, do it and keep learning. So again, not good or bad, just it's important for you to be clear about that. So you don't keep saying yes to, like when you're doing your marketing, to I see everybody, if that's not true. And then you get to a place where in 6 months you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so burnt out and this is so hard. You're not leaving space for the people that are a better fit. So anyway, I kind of rambled a little bit, but I want to take the arc of trajectory. I know if you're not somebody who's doing medical nutrition kind of stuff, if your business is a little bit more wellness and coaching and the cooking element, those kind of things, I'd still say that's true. Get really clear about like what kind of things you want to offer. And if you don't want to compromise in your coaching around like, good food and trusting your body, don't take people who are going to like kind of bring disruption to the services you offer, so you don't have to, like if a client's like, hey, can you do a healthy cooking demonstration, don't just necessarily say yes to that. It could be, well, let me tell you more about what I offer and what my philosophy is on food and nutrition and cooking and eating and all that kind of stuff, and see how this feels to you. Take the risk to do that, because I think that what you're going to find is if you say yes to everything. I've done some talks, I'm like, oh, that was miserable, why did I do that? And because I was saying yes to everything, going into like a crowd of, and one time I did a talk like is a nursing CEU all day program, and one of the ones who was organizing it, she was in one of my groups, and she thought this would be awesome, people need to hear about this, and I'm glad I did it in some ways to like plant some seeds. It was good, but it was also a fairly hostile crowd that was just there thinking, I positioned it like, not a non-diet approach to like, health and nutrition. I totally did. but it was still wasn't a crowd that was really that open to my message. So it wasn't the funnest talk, I'll be honest, but I'm glad I did it. But looking back, you kind of have to think about like who, if your job is to plant seeds, mission accomplished, and knowing that like not everybody's going to love it. If your mission is to like maybe have leads, make sure you go in there with like your sheets, get their names and addresses, and make a raffle or something for that, or raffle off books or whatever. To make it a little bit more incentive for them to learn more. It just depends on what you're trying to accomplish, but be clear about focus and clarity. Be clear about what you're trying to accomplish with whatever marketing thing you do. Position yourself as like, this is the results I offer, especially from these pain points. And you don't have to say yes to everything. You just don't. Even if you're starting off. I mean, I know people who just stuck with their certain pricing and their positioning, and they just never really had that overwhelm struggle. And I think that getting there, if you're struggling with that, that has a lot more to do with what you think what you're doing is worth and what you value, and if you are valuable enough to do that. So I know it's all a learning curve, but anyway, I'm offering all this advice and just this stuff because this is all stuff I learned. But I can't really give you like what you should do XYZ strategy because I don't know that much about your practice, your coaching practice, your business, what you're trying to accomplish. So that all really depends on you and those conversations you have with yourself or somebody like me that can like just help you see from the bigger picture of like what works and what doesn't. So anyway, I'm so happy and grateful that you all are here. If you happen to watch this and you thought this was good stuff, some good nuggets around like, yeah, maybe that is my issue, that I'm not quite as focused, or that I'm trying to talk too much about like procedure and me, like, I'm talking too much about like me and what I offer and what I do versus what they can get. If that's all you got from this, awesome, that's huge. And take that to your platforms and do that. When I do local talks, I don't do a lot of local talks right now, but I do, local marketing still with therapists and kind of ancillary people. I haven't done as much work with physicians in a while. I did that a couple years ago, and I'm just kind of letting word of mouth happen at this point. But mostly therapists I still kind of work with. But I'm really, really, really clear about food restriction doesn't work, why it doesn't work, and what I offer to their clients to help them get better and to help them, help the therapist have an alternative to some of the spin that their clients are having around food and body and all those kind of things. And helping them know how to help sell that, to be honest, because you're more likely, what I've discovered, this is really, really important, is that if you can educate the people that you're networking with about how they can share what you can offer, you don't have to do much selling. I mean, when therapists refer clients to me, they're just like, hey, I'm ready to sign up. I don't really do an hour-long sales call, like, or whatever kind of thing. It's really like a 15-minute conversation usually. I just get a little bit more background. Here's how the sessions work and get going. So that's something I want you to think about too, is don't talk too as much about like who you are and all your education, all that kind of good stuff. Say like, this is the kind of clients I work with and their struggles, and here's a little bit about the process, but mostly for your clients, like this is what I offer, and a little bit about how they get there. But it doesn't have to be, don't make it as much about you and all your education and all the coaching and all the people you work with, unless there's some therapists, if you speak a little bit of their therapist language, that's really helpful. But at the end of the day, like, all of our people want relief, they want freedom, they want peace, they want to feel comfortable in their own skin, and that's what we offer. And that's true. There's not a one of you here in this group that doesn't offer that. It's helping, being really clear about that and doing it in a unique way, because you don't have to be like me. Don't try to be like me, because then it won't work. Be like you. How you speak to clients in session, how you interact with your family, your friends, your personality, your wit, your humor, your intellect, and then from that, offer yourself with those solutions. And the people that need it just from your flavor, there you go. So thank you for joining me today. A little bit of a ramble, but I really just wanted to provide some valuable insight around where I know that I was once stuck. So if you all resonate with that, then it's been a good day. And please take something and be actionable with it today. All right, thank you so much. Talk to you soon.